Hope you're cool. Hope that you've had an awesome week. We're at week 4, my friends. And we start our week 4 with my favorite thing, puns. So check out today's pun. Bum, bum, bum. Pun, pun, pun. Want to go on a picnic? Alpaca lunch. And it's an alpaca. Look at this guy. He looks so fuzzy, huh? I wonder, are alpacas the ones that spit? Or is that llamas? They seem to be in the same family, huh? Maybe they spit. I'm not sure. Let's find out. Do alpacas spit? Do alpacas spit? Llamas and alpacas are sweet animals, but won't hesitate to spit at you. Spitting is also used to warn an aggressor away. Some llamas and alpacas are just crabbier than others and spit with little provocation. So, the moral of the story is watch out with those alpacas and those llamas, they might spit at you. It's funny, huh? All right, let's get into it. Let's get into this video. Let's start with our syllabus here. And we're at week 4 already. We have quite a few things coming up since we're officially now a little bit more over the halfway point. As you can see, this is the week where I assign you with the last paper. Just like that, our winter term is coming to an end rather quickly. So this is the week that I present you with the final paper, which is the research paper, and is a culmination of everything that really has been scaffolding towards this moment. Everything from intertextuality to learning about in-text citations, to learning about how to actually navigate the whole integration of sources, and now is the time when the rubber hits the road. And we got our last assignment, which is a research paper, which you'll see the indications for that on the next video here on our module, so stay tuned for that. So we got our research paper and the outline, and as you'll see, the outline is going to be due on Sunday, so at the end of this module. And oh, look at this, we also have our first current event. Current event. Very, very cool. So make sure to jot down these deadlines in your calendar. Let's go into our Canvas now. Here we go. Okay, so this one that says research paper particularities, just watch the other video so that you could get more information as to what the research paper is going to entail. So go in there. Also, in the research paper outline, I have another video that I've created where I explain the logistics of this outline. I did open up this assignment here on our Canvas page because I want to show you that I added these 3 things, which are some student samples. I know that for me, when I was a student, I always loved it when the teacher gave us student samples so that I could see like what an iteration of what they were asking for could potentially look like. So check out these 3 student samples of outlines. First one we got is global warming, we got ethical clothing, and overpopulation. Those are the topics of those. So I've added those to help you out, okay? And as you can see, the deadline for our outline is also Sunday the 31st. That's coming up. Next thing we have, let's see. Oh, okay. Part of this week's module, of course, since I'm presenting you with the research paper, which is the last assignment, which will be due on our last official essentially like the end of our class, which for us is going to be Thursday, February 11th by 11:59 p.m. And yep. So with that being said, since I'm presenting you with the actual prompt of a research paper so that you can hit the ground running and start running, a very important part of doing research in our field of English writing composition is knowing how to navigate sources, right? Knowing how to cull through the databases that serve as our primary resources, right? So that we can draw upon them to find sources that will best serve us. And I got a surprise for you, my friends. You as a fighting owl, yes, you as a fighting owl have access. And by the way, if you didn't know, here at Citrus College, our mascot is the fighting owl. Whoa. Okay, so you as a fighting owl have access to databases through our school library, and our school pays for these databases, and a lot of times students aren't even aware of that, nor are they aware of how to actually use them. But our super nice and cool librarian Elizabeth Cook here has created this workshop for how to navigate the databases that we have at our disposal as the Citrus College family here. So do check this out. It's part of the module, and as you are watching it, also take notes, okay? Because the next part of the module is going to be predicated upon the librarian's workshop there, okay? So essentially it's just going to be this discussion board where you're going to write, what did you learn from this week's library research workshop? How will you apply that information to the work that you'll do on your research paper, and anything else you'd like to add? Of course, as usual, please write at least a hearty, nice, fat paragraph. And then, since this is a discussion board, remember to also reply to at least one classmate's post. All right, so that's that. Next one, we got something new, my friends, something that we haven't done yet, but this will be our first one. And that is our current event assignment. Oh my goodness, there's a lot going on around the world right now, huh? So this is such a fun one to do. So a lot of times we read an article, like let's say we pick up the newspaper and we read an article, or let's say even we're reading an article from an online source, right? It's from a website. We don't really take the time to deconstruct and consider what's actually happening beneath the surface. Like, how is it that the writer is so effectively achieving their objective upon us as a reader? And that's one of the neat things about this assignment, the current event write-up, is that it'll be an opportunity to really take the time to deconstruct and visit exactly what is happening. I guess we could call it behind the curtains. Yeah. So check this out. I'm going to read it to you here. Okay, so among the recurring themes across our class is the recognition that writing is a force that performs social action. The work of each piece of writing is manifested differently across genres. In the same way, the news story functions rhetorically in its own unique way. Remember that word rhetoric from our textual analysis lecture, which is the art of persuasion in speech or text. Now, when something functions rhetorically, it's moving in a particular method so as to achieve its aim. Because that's the thing, like when we write, we always have an objective. We always have something that we want to do with our writing. Hence the fact that we say that writing is a force that performs social action. Writing always does something. Whether that, sorry about that, the microphone moved here. Whether that is an opinion piece in the Los Angeles Times that has the writerly purpose of getting you to stop drinking so much Coca-Cola or stop drinking it altogether. Maybe it's the objective of the writers to create this sense of urgency, right? About why you should stop. And yeah, so that's an action. That's a social action. That's something that the writing is doing. So writing always does something. So have that in your mind the next time that you come across an article or, yeah, it's like, wow, writing does stuff. All right, so check this out. Throughout this term, you'll be responsible for bringing in a total. It's actually 2. This is it. I'm going to fix this. By the time you see this, it'll say 2 of 2 current event news story write-ups, where you will report on the gist of the story, analyze just how your chosen news story does its work. Does it make use of logos by providing empirical data? So when we talk about rhetoric, the different devices, so we talk about logos. You know, the way I think about it when I hear logos, actually, let me pull up this. Oops, that's not the place. Let me pull up a text edit form here. Okay, so when I think of logos, I think of logic. So logos utilizes logical reasoning, utilizes intellectual means for convincing you. So if we return to our example of the opinion piece in Los Angeles Times, and if the writer is using logos to convince you to stop drinking soda, then the writer might be using something like statistics or graphs or charts, right? They're using numbers and this raw data to convince you, right? So that's where we have logos. The next one, let me move this a little bit here. Ethos. Okay, the next rhetorical device we have is ethos. And when I think of ethos, what helps me remember is I think of ethics. For those of you who aren't too familiar with the word ethics, ethics is just, ethics just explores, right and wrong. So explores right and wrong. So for example, if I was going to say okay. If I want to say something like when scientists move to clone sheep, what if we say this? Let's create this sentence. The scientific community should really consider the ethics, or just how ethical it is to clone, and maybe instead of just how ethical, whether or not it is ethical to clone a sheep. Okay, so when we think of ethics, it's like a sense of right, yeah? A sense of right, doing the right thing, morals, right? The scientific community should really consider whether or not it is ethical to clone a sheep. So that's one of our words here. So returning to our rhetorical device here of ethos, which, by the way, when we say rhetorical devices, these are just methods that can be used to convince you of something or to achieve a writerly purpose, right? So, okay, with ethos, not only is it appealing to a sense of right, like establishing that something's blatantly wrong and we should do the right thing, the moral thing, the just thing. What ethos also does is that it establishes the author or speaker as being a credible source, right? So, credible or someone worth listening to. And I have a really good example. I remember a few semesters ago in my class, we looked at the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. Now, before Dr. King is called to the stage, he's introduced as the nation's moral leader. Just with that title alone, that, my friends, is ethos at work. So it was establishing Dr. King as a valid and reputable speaker, right? Okay, so remember that. If we return to our example of the Los Angeles Times article about why you should stop drinking Coca-Cola, what if, I don't know, maybe, I'm not saying it's true because I don't quite know, but let's say, for example, that, okay, I got it. Okay, so Coca-Cola bottles are mainly plastic for the most part, or aluminum, and even though, you know, those are recyclable items, but realistically, there's quite a large number of people who litter, right? They just throw their trash, and not only do they throw their trash, but also what becomes problematic with the marine life is so when you open let's say like the 2-liter Coca-Cola bottle, when you open the cap, you know how underneath it is that plastic ring? That plastic ring is often eaten by creatures, like marine creatures, and a lot of times like seagulls and turtles, and even like returning to the Coca-Cola, the individual cans, you know how they come with those little plastic rings that hold them? Those oftentimes get caught around the necks of sea turtles and other creatures. So if this article that's trying to, the goal of this writer is to get you to stop drinking Coca-Cola, let's say that was their goal. If they presented that fact that these plastics ultimately end up harming marine life and just the ecosystem in general, then by presenting it as a sense of like harm that would be done, they're calling to a sense of just values, right? So that right there, my friends, is ethos at work. Explores right and wrong. And you know what? We can even say, actually, we're going to do this. For ethos, we're going to say ethics, and then I'm going to do this. You know what? I'm actually going to get rid of this bold, just because the reason I had put in bold logic and ethos is because like those are the words that I think of when I see this. See how log is a lot like logic, ethos, eth is a lot like ethics. That's how I remember. So I'm going to say also establishes the speaker, or we could say the speaker or author as a credible or valuable source, right? Just like my example of when Dr. King was introduced in the I Have a Dream speech as our nation's moral leader. That already was a move of ethos, okay, my friends? So, all right, so we have one more, and that is pathos, emotion. So, let's go to that one. Pathos. This one, I'll tell you how I remember. So, as you'll notice for the other two, you know, the first 3 letters were just like what I told you to think of. So L-O-G, log, and logic was the same. E-T-H, eth, the eth there and eth here for ethos and ethics. This one, pathos and emotion. The way I think of it is, I think of the word pathetic. So when something has pathos, it's full of emotion. So maybe I don't know, maybe it's kind of rude, but I think of somebody just like continually crying or like overwhelmed with emotion, like they're just crying and crying and they can't stop crying and crying. And I don't know, I kind of think of the word like pathetic, like just like as a way to help me remember this. If that doesn't work for you, then probably you can find some other way. But and you know, I'm actually wondering if pathos is in Greek. Pathos, I think it's in Greek. Yeah. There we go, my friends. So if thinking about, you know, somebody crying or thinking about the word pathetic doesn't help you to remember pathos, for those of you who like languages and knowing where the what the root languages are, so pathos is in Greek and it literally means suffering or experience. So, you know, again, the fact that it means suffering is a good way to remember, you know, like emotion. Like I was thinking of somebody like just overwhelmed with emotion, like to the point that they're suffering because they don't have any like mental peace or stability. It's just like just being overrun by emotions. And so anyways, we're talking about rhetorical devices here, right? Rhetorical devices. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to upload this and I'll include this file into the current event description here. So, okay, so pathos, it appeals to emotion. If we return to our, you know, stop drinking Coca-Cola, how could we appeal to emotion? Well, maybe if, you know, it's interesting, like if we return to the example of the marine life being affected by the plastics, maybe like if we went more the route of pathos, we might be like super descriptive about, like, so we could tug at our heart, at the reader's heartstrings about, you know, be like super descriptive about what happens with the turtles, or, you know. So another good example of pathos, we see it a lot, is in, let's say, those commercials, like you're watching TV and it's like, so you can donate money to, say, like animal shelters, or I gotta go to like a St. Jude's hospital, right? They present us with like very like sad like scenes that like tug at our heartstrings so that we can donate money. Like that rhetorical device is pathos. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm going to include this here. All right, so we were here. You're going to consider how the news story does its rhetorical work. So does it utilize any of this rhetorical devices? Does the article sequence information in a particular way that truly makes it work? So a lot of times, even just how information is presented, like insofar as its order is concerned, that can often be effective too. Just what does the writer do to make their story work? Now that's the main thing. It's like one of those things where you have to work backwards, where you read your article and then you kind of think to yourself, what do I think the writer wanted to do with this article? Like what was their point? What did they want me to take away from it? Like what do they want to do with this article? Do they want to convince me to, you know, ditch my gasoline guzzling vehicle and instead go buy a Tesla? Did they want to convince me to stop drinking Coca-Cola? Did they want me to do something like maybe go invest in some stock? like what did this piece want me to do? You know, did it want me to be more cautious of how much time I'm spending on my smartphone? So you got to think backwards. Like, okay, what is this article? What is the writer like trying to do with this piece? A lot of times too, it could even be like they want to inform the reader of something. Maybe there's like an animal that is endangered, and they want to inform us, and they want us to take action in supporting you know, the preservation of, I don't know. I wonder if the white rhino is extinct. Rhino. I they are now. It's sad. They're near threatened. Okay. Oh, the population's increasing. Nice. Okay, so the white rhino is not necessarily extinct, but they're near threatened. So, you know, if maybe that's the purpose, maybe you're reading like a piece from National Geographic or something like that. And they want us as a reader to maybe like donate some money or spread awareness. Whatever the case may be, you got to work backwards. Like, okay, what does the writer want to do with this piece? And then obviously, here's a bit super important. Don't forget to most definitely react and respond to the news article. This part is crucial as the 3 parts of the assignment are report, analyze the article's rhetorical work, and respond and react. So basically, you're telling me what's happening in the article. And then tell me also, okay, what is the writer trying to do in that article? And then you're telling me, obviously, like, how do they do it? Are there like certain buzzwords that they use that elicit emotional response in you? Hey guys, if you choose an article that pertains to sports, that's cool too. Like maybe it's a piece that is celebrating a particular player. Like right now it's football, right? Football's in. So it's like a piece celebrating a particular quarterback or whatever. So maybe they're using like statistics and numbers, which is logos, right? So you got to think of that like that way, because the writers, they're always trying to do something, no matter the genre, whether sports, whether articles that pertain to nature or health, like whatever the topics, the writer's always trying to do something, okay? So you're going to talk about like how they do that something, like whatever their objective is. And then this is a big one, respond and react. So like, why did you choose this article? Like what drew you to it? What was so cool about it? What drew your attention to it? So here's some guiding questions. You don't have to compulsorily be like, okay, question number 1, question number 2. No. Just go straight into it. And yes, you can use I as hopefully you looked at the What is Academic Writing article that I've included. I've actually included that one here. It's right at the top. Yes, you can use I. Let me return to where we were. First current event already, huh? All right. So yeah, basically, just go straight into it and say, you can say something like, just go straight into it. You can say, the article that I chose, here's what's happening. The purpose of the article is blah, 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 which is what the writer's trying to do. And this is how they go about achieving it, talk about like if there's any certain buzzwords or are there graphs and charts or anything like that. Like how is the writer doing it, right? And then try to plug in some of these terms: logos, ethos, pathos. That'll be like a bonus point. Well, not really, but like it'd be like bonus. All right. Yeah, so these are guiding questions to answer those things. The requirement, so this is going to be at least 2 pages, double spaced, 1-inch margins all around. It's MLA, just like we've been doing. This, my friends, is going to help you. We have our student samples. These are current events of students who have submitted in the past, right? They've been my past students, so you can check these out for student samples. I think that's it. That's it for this week's module. Let's see, just want to be 100% sure. Yeah, that's it for this week's module. So make sure to watch the other videos that will describe our research paper. Now, you will notice that, perhaps some of the dates that I mentioned don't exactly align with our own. So do be mindful of our own deadlines for this class. And I'm going to include that in the page where we have our videos too. And obviously they're all here too. Yeah, and then the thing you got to watch out for too is that next week, and it's already the peer review workshop, just like we had for this first paper, entertainment as political. So you're gonna post your rough draft by next Wednesday, February 3. So do bear that in mind, okay? All right, that's it for this video. Yeah, I just want to end by saying that I'm really proud of you. I know we're moving really quickly, and that's how winter goes. So please, if you have any questions, or you just want some feedback about your ideas on your project, please feel free to reach out to me. And remember that I'm always available for a Zoom meeting, so do let me know. All right, guys, have an awesome week. See you.